creative title for this. All right.
Eric Bonner, it's you, brother. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. So yeah, I'm going to kind of stick with the theme that everyone else has gone with here, and kind of just pick something that, you know, I'm somewhat passionate about, something that I've been doing here for almost a little over 2 years now. And I've really enjoyed listening to all the prior sessions about, you know, a lot of, you know, things that I find very relative for me personally, you know, personal development, you know, being happier, right? Like looking at your perspective on life and what matters. I'm at a point in my life where that's very receptive to me right now. So, you know, appreciate you all sharing what you did. And what I'm going to talk about today is, I guess, not as much like theoretical or, you know, things to what's the word I'm looking for? No, anyways, not as much theoretical, but more physical, right? So when I say bring your A game, I'm meaning, you know, coming and showing up for, you know, whether it's a big meeting or a big day in your life, and ensuring that your body is, you know, at a level where you can perform at an optimum level that you would want to perform at. So and when I say that, what I'm talking about is I'm a big fan of these like wearable devices. So I have a couple up here, and if you can see, I actually have the Whoop strap on. That's what I wear. And these are all basically, you know, tools that people use to monitor their heart or their body in a variety of ways. They all kind of do this similar thing and provide readouts basically based upon your heart rate. So they're pretty much glorified heart rate monitors. There's different ways of wearing them, and they do things differently. But what's really cool is, you know, by just looking at, you know, your simple thing like your heart rate, there's a lot of data you can extract and a lot of information you can get on your body about, you know, how ready you are to perform, as well as habits that you may have, whether that be, you know, food related or stress related, or really could be a ton of different things. But it all has an impact on your body, how your body recovers overnight when you sleep, and then, you know, the amount of, you know, the degree to which the next day you wake up, you're able to, you know, really get after it. So again, I use the Whoop strap. I've been wearing it for 765 days in a row now. Never take it off. Wow. Sleep in it, shower in it. I do move it from wrist to wrist because I'll get a blister every now and then. But you know, the Oura Ring is something similar. I'm not a fan of that one because I'm a big CrossFit junkie. I'm actually pretty addicted to CrossFit. That's where I got into this. Saw some folks at my gym, they were using it, and I was like, well, hell, I'll give this thing a shot, and fell in love. Apple Watch, everybody's pretty familiar with. My wife has one of these. I got some gripes with it, but it's still a great tool if that's what you use. So, but at the end of the day, you know, what these tools are doing is they're measuring your heart rate, and what's really important about the one that I wear in particular, and they all measure this, is heart rate variability. So if you're not familiar with heart rate variability, essentially it's the gap, the space and time between your heartbeats. So, you know, if you have a heartbeat, to give an example here of 60 beats per minute, your heart's not beating every second on the second. There's variability in that. So one heartbeat to the next could be 0.9 seconds. The next one could be 1.15 seconds. So there's variability in there. And why that's important is the larger the variability you have in between your heartbeats, you know, would then lead to, you know, requiring fewer heartbeats per minute. Just means your heart's is more efficient, and your body's in just way better shape. If your heart's having to constantly pump more and pump faster, has a smaller gap between the heartbeats, it essentially means you're not as in shape as you could be. So one of the goals I have is to really, as I go forward in life, and now that I monitor this and I have a lot of trend and historical data on it, is to really work on improving my heart rate variability, so I can, you know, have more stamina, perform better in the gym, you know, have more energy to play with my kids, and just do everything that I want. So that's the foundation of, you know, some of the stuff I'm going to show you, and some of the ways, you know, I look at, you know, my day, because I look at this thing first thing in the morning when I wake up. I look at it constantly throughout the day, and I look at trends every week and every month because I get reporting on that. But in a nutshell, here's just a little, you know, blurb I got. But it's a great measure of your, you know, was it autonomic? Atomic? I don't even know what that word is. Your nervous system in a nutshell. So it's just a great way to determine how your body's performing. And just to give you some examples, right? I mean, folks that are wearing the one that I do, because I'm a big advocate of mine. I think it's the best one out there. But here's just some star athletes. But you don't have to be a star athlete to want to monitor your body's condition. This is a big thing that CEOs use as well. And once I start showing you some of the data that I get out of it, yeah, I do focus on ensuring, like when I have a big FEGM coming up or a big face-to-face in-meeting person or in-person meeting, I'm doing everything I can to make sure that my body is as primed as I can be, so I can go in that meeting. I'll be clear-minded, clear focused, feel great, lots of energy. Just sometimes when you're just not feeling it, you can get like brain fog and you can't think straight, and it's all just a matter of how your body's performing. So and also one thing I'll share too, just to, on a personal note, just to show how real this stuff is. I had a buddy of mine who I used to work out with who passed away earlier this year, but he wore one of these, and it's a good way, and I'll show you this in a second, to tell when there things are really going on with your body. He had in the 2 days leading up to his death, a recovery score, which I'll show you what that is in a second, of like 1% and 3% in the 2 days leading up to the aortic aneurysm that he had that killed him. So there's a lot to be said with the data that you can extract, again, from simple HRV measurement, and it's a good lead indicator to you may be sick, you may be getting sick, you may be getting COVID. There could be something seriously wrong with you, and you can't just go to the doctor every other day and get some full body scan. They don't do that for free to see if there's something wrong. So it's good lead indicator device as well for just overall health. But just to give you an idea, some of the things that have an impact on your daily performance, that's what I'll call it. I mean, a couple things would be training. So I'll notice when I go to the gym and I do a really hard workout, yeah, I'm a little off the next day. My recovery is not as great as it would be, because my body took on so much strain and it's taking time to recover from that. So that's why when they say if you work out a lot, rest days are just as important as the on days. But more important than that, there's a lot of lifestyle things that can certainly have an impact on how your body runs. And I tell you, you see alcohol there in the middle. Obviously, people, you drink alcohol and then the next day you're a little hungover and you don't feel real great. But what you probably, a lot of people don't realize is, the effects of alcohol, even after you drink it, it stays in your body for up to 4 days. So it could have an impact on you for quite some time. And if you never let your body, really get out of that recovery or get over it, then you're kind of in this like dull state, for a long period of time. But things like diet, sleep is huge. I'll tell you, one of the biggest changes that I've made in my daily routine is sleep. And it makes me feel like an old man anymore, because I'm like trying to get the kids to bed by like 8:30, and if I'm not in bed by 9:30 or 10, I'm like, holy crap, it is so late. What am I doing up at 10 o'clock at night? I mean, I'm not going to get my 8 hours of sleep that I want to get. But it has a big effect. But stress too, and they do a lot of studies too with mine, like impacts of COVID, how it impacts the people's body, the vaccines. There's all kinds of like lifestyle or things that you can click on here, and kind of track your progress. So you see what, and every month they show you what the impact of X behavior is on your overall performance on average. Just cool stuff to know. You may have some bad habits that are impacting you physically that you may not even know about. And then also just, biological factors, age, your gender, genetics, right? Underlying health conditions, all kinds of things. But a lot of people don't think about all of this, and it's all working together and how overall it affects your body's performance. And just to give you, this is what I look at, every day I wake up. There's 3 areas. There's recovery, there's strain, and then there's sleep. So from a recovery perspective, I wake up every day and see what my recovery is on a score of 1% to 99%. So this is an actual screenshot from my phone. This was on Memorial Day, which was actually fantastic, that I was a 99% recovery, because that's the day I went and did the Murph Challenge workout, which is, if you're not familiar with that, that's a big CrossFit workout in memory of Michael Murphy. That's just done every Memorial Day. Man, I woke up, I saw it was 99%, recovered. I was pumped. I was even more energized. That's such a great recovery. But if you notice other things down here, you can see So you guys see my mouse here?
Mhm.
You can see like my HRV. The reason why my recovery was so good is because my heart rate variability number went up, which up means it's good. So you're getting larger gaps in those heartbeats. You can see my average is like 59. It also show you your resting heart rate, which is basically sleep and how good you sleep. The lower that is, the better you most likely slept. And I can tell you, if you drink alcohol, that number will go through the roof and you will not sleep very good. Then you see other things like, amount of sleep I got the night before, respiratory rate. This is actually a pretty neat indicator. I have some information on this later. I'll show you, but they added this during COVID because they found out that if you got COVID, your respiratory rate would increase significantly by about 2 points or higher. It's also a good way to tell if you see this number, like it's very consistent. It doesn't really change. So if you ever see movement in it upwards, it means your body's fighting something. So, if I ever see that jump like 1.5% overnight, I'm like, oh crap, I'm probably, getting ready to come down with something, or I've actually had a couple of concerns like COVID. So that's a good day. Here's a bad day. This was the day after my 39th birthday party. So I went out and had a good time. You can see HRV was way, way down. Look at that resting heart rate spiking. I did some drinking that night. Didn't sleep very good or get much of it. But respiratory rate was pretty good. So this is what I look every morning. I wake up, I look at these numbers. I'm like, I can tell what kind of a day I'm going to have ahead of me. And again, if I have a big meeting the next day or something, I'll make sure I do the activities that set me up for success, so I have a really good recovery. Another neat feature on this is strain. This is the amount of effort you put out throughout the day. It calculates this. So on a scale of 0 to 21, 21 would be like if you just sprinted for 24 hours straight, max exertion for a 24-hour period, which is hard to do. So this would be like a resting day for me, a day off, recovery day. If I didn't have a good recovery, trying to keep it down for the day. But here's the day I did the Murph when I had the 99%. So I had an 18 strain. So that took a toll on my body. No doubt about it. I knew it would going into it, but knowing this, I know I need to take it easy tonight, and maybe make sure I get a good night's sleep so I can have a good recovery the next day. And then the last piece of it's sleep. It gives you a sleep score every night and how effective you sleep. It learns your sleep patterns, and actually based upon all the data it has on you, it calculates how much sleep you actually need or should get on a given basis. And it also takes into effect how hard you worked that day. So you can see it says my sleep need is 8 hours and 12 minutes. If I had a really high strain day, like an 18, that might go up by like 10 minutes or so. If I had a light day, it might go down. If you take a nap, it'll go down because it takes that into effect too. But you can see, let's see, I had a pretty good night's sleep that night. Some of the other info it shows you here is your sleep stages, which is I try and pay attention to. You can see how much time you spent awake. You were in light sleep, you had a REM sleep, or you were even in a deep sleep, this is where your body's really recovering, is the deep sleep. And you can see this is my heart rate throughout the night. And if I had a different screen, you could see every time I had a disturbance or woke up, it says I had 11 disturbances throughout the night. And you can see my HRV actually, or my respiratory rate here, it's a little higher. This was last Monday, I think, when I woke up. And, I had a cold last Monday. It's some kind of infection or something. So, when I say it spikes, like it went up 1.3, I was fighting a cough. And I was on mute a lot last Monday because of that. And then again, here's the respiratory rate thing I mentioned. Just monitoring changes in that can really, big changes in it can show that something's going on. Your body's fighting something or is struggling to recover. So, very analytical, a lot of data behind this. There's a ton more data online you can go and look at, and trends on everything in the world. But for me, it's just it's a cool little thing where I can see every day, how my body is primed to work or not work. So, but also you can learn some pretty cool habits that impact you one way or another, good or bad. Like I'll tell you, I was experimenting with some like CBD for sleep because they say that helps you sleep better. And I'll tell you, I got more deep sleep when I did that. And I slept better, didn't have as many disturbances. So, that's a good habit. some bad habits. Obviously, if you drink alcohol, it crushes you. It crushes your body. Your body does not like alcohol. But I've gotten way more focused on sleep. Sleep is like my biggest driver right now. I get other habits that I could still work to improve on. But it's pretty cool. And at the end of the day, why does this all matter? Because and I think my little slide play here, it'll help you show up with your A game. So that's just a little tool that I do. There's a lot of different tools out there. Probably a million different ways to look and slice at the data, but that's what I use it for, and it really helps me. When I got a big meeting coming up, I'm doing everything I can, 2 days out to ensure I'm primed and ready to go. So that's what I had today. Share a little bit about what I do.
Eric, that was awesome, man.
That was-
Killer.
Yeah.
Killer. Feedback for it. Thoughts, comments.
I think this is cool because like this is essentially what we're doing also for our clients with the amount of data that we give back to them. We're giving them kind of the same type of info. But I was gonna ask, so obviously you're using the Whoop scan. Is it what do you like best about it versus like the Apple Watch? Because it just gives you so much more input and data.
I like it better because I can sleep with it. Like
Yeah.
I can't sleep with an Apple Watch. I tried. Plus, if from an HRV perspective, the Apple Watch makes you do some weird breathing exercise every morning in order to get it, which you don't have to do with this one. But sleep was the biggest part. I couldn't sleep with that Apple Watch. I was so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then the other one, I mean, as far as the ring goes, again, I work out a lot, do a lot of stuff on like the pull-up rig and stuff. And, I got to take my wedding ring off to do that, or else I tear up my hands. So that's why I don't like the ring, because you got to leave it on. So in order it doesn't work.
Yeah.
How does that thing charge, Eric? Or do you have to recharge it?
You do. I don't have one here, but there's a little battery pack that just slides right on top of it. So I charge a little plastic battery pack and it just slips on top. Looks like a bit like a little watch, and then it charges in like 30 minutes, and I just take it off, and it charges for like 5 days. Hold the charge.
I
Is
couldn't
it-
figure out how you were never taking the thing off. That makes more sense now. So you
gotta make sure you
slide
don't
it
get in the
on, it
shower with
charges
it.
it, then you take it off, but you're keeping the band on all the time. That's what you're saying.
Yep, never take it off.
Very cool.
And it's Wi-Fi that it's grabbing.
Bluetooth to your phone.
Okay, gotcha.
There's an app on your phone where I took all those screenshots from. So
I'm gonna get one of these for my wife. Thanks.
no problem, man. They're awesome.
I kind of want to get one for me too.
You'd be surprised too. Like I didn't talk about travel, but man, when you start traveling, especially if you're going abroad, I mean, just to see the impacts that has on you is crazy. And if you're doing a lot of jet setting like Craig does, it's a helpful tool to keep you in check.
Craig doesn't stop running. I follow him on Strava, and he's just always out there.
This is fascinating to me, Eric, but I thoroughly enjoyed this. Anybody else comments or questions for Eric?
Does Eric work for Whoop?
I love to work for Whoop. No, I don't.
You need an affiliate link then.
Yeah, they need some kind of a program. I don't know. But it's cool. I mean, and there's so much more to it. I mean, if you go to their website, if you're really that interested, go to their website. They got all kinds of groups and stuff that you can get in. You can see, how your peers are performing. Like I'm in a group with my gym, and I can see everybody's like recovery, their strain. Like, I have some people that I compete with or benchmark with at the gym. So it's like, how did that workout affect him versus me? And it's funny to see like, for me, like my heart rate might have been through the roof, but for him, his was lower, but it was harder, right? So, or mine, or his was through the roof, and it was easier for me, or I don't know. It's like I said, it's just a lot of fun data to look at.
It's awesome.
All right. Anybody else before we wrap up? Eric, that was great, man. I'm agreeing with Christina's feedback that she gave me, I think last week, but seeing kind of everybody's personality, like, and not just kind of business acumen come through these things has been ridiculously cool. So I appreciate everybody's commitment up to this point to share it. It's been very good. So I am going to kill the recording. Stand by. Why is it so hard to find how to turn this thing on and turn it off? There we go. This should not